I think that a lot of women have become so negative or have such a negative view towards marriage because they are realizing that they don't have a proximity to it the way that our mothers and grandmothers did. In our mothers and grandmothers' generations, women, they just got married. Everybody got married. You jumped your little broom and you got married with or without a ring. And if you were lucky, you got like a little gold band. Weddings and diamond rings didn't become a thing until rich folks made it a thing. And you married your husband whether he was a sharecropper or a hotel bellhop. Women just got married because it was just a respectful thing to do. Men married women because it was just a respectful thing to do. It wasn't long courtships. It wasn't any of that. They just got married. But now in this era, men, they frown upon marriage. They don't want to do it for they don't either they don't want to divorce or it's financial reasons or marriage has just become too transactional for them. Women have all these criteria. We get on the internet screaming about cluster rings and what ring we want, and they see all these extravagant over the top weddings, and most men pockets just can't handle the stress of the what comes with proposing to a woman today. It's just too much. And a lot of women are just finding themselves in relationships with men that they just know won't ask them to marry them. And that's why I'm noticing now the trend of women that are becoming more resentful towards women who are married and who are getting married. Like the hate that is happening between black women, especially watching other black women get married, is very extreme today. Like everybody's husband don't like you, y'all are faking y'all love, everybody's miserable in their marriage, and why would I want that? And I'm like, since when did it become where women did not want to be married? Every woman, even the ones screaming they don't want to be married, still want to be married. You women are just feeling like they don't have a proximity to it anymore, and now it's completely left up in a man to propose to you when they just used to do it back in the day. Today, yeah. To get a man to marry you, it's a lot. Women have a proximity to everything else a woman have. Jewelry, bags, clothes, house, shoes. But the one thing they can't control is if a man is going to marry them and propose.
Hey, shout out to the content creator. I appreciate her sharing this message. It definitely rang true in a lot of ways. And I want to touch on 3 points that she really made. I would say most of it I agree with, but I think I want to add some context to her, what she was saying. The only thing I would say I'll maybe disagree with was back in the day when it was like men used to just get married just to do it. I don't think that, or women just married because it was the thing to do. I think that's a little vague. I would say for me, I think that we know back, and depending on what she means with back in the day, I'm thinking she's thinking about her grandmother, her great grandmother, things like that. Maybe before the 70s, that kind of era, and then before the 80s, I would say maybe 80s below, right? So with that being said, I definitely think that you got to think about it. Women have been working for a while now, but they still wasn't making the money that they needed to make to really survive on their own. And so I would think the smartest thing for them to do was to marry and create a household that made their survival easy, that made their life a little bit more easier when it came to having two incomes. If they wanted kids, right? If they wanted stability in their life, if they didn't want to struggle, it made sense for them to get married back in the day. Again, they can make their own money, and I've always said this on my videos. Women had the quote back in the day of, his money is my money is my money, right? And that made sense because it was like back in the day, based on what she was saying, yes, the man was the breadwinner, totally. And so the money that the women did come across, the money that they did make, it was like them kind of contributing to the household really wouldn't make a big impact. I'm not saying it wouldn't bring any value, but it wouldn't have made as big an impact as the man who was being the sole provider. So they like, why would I give up the little money I did have, in the relationship? I might as well use that to, do nice things for me, do nice things for the kid, maybe, do something nice for my husband. as he take care of the totality really of the household. And so that made sense. While again, I don't agree with her just saying it was a thing to do. And again, maybe she didn't mean that as to belittle it, but I feel like it was more of a survival mechanism, more of a, hey, if I want kids, if I want a relationship and a family, then I got to marry this man. And also, she mentioned something that I'm going to touch on later, but proximity to marriage. Yes, back in the day, you didn't have access to the world, right? You didn't have access to your people in the next state, really. It was like whatever town, maybe the town that you was adjacent to, you might have had some cousins over there, seen them, that had seen somebody you like, or maybe just in your city, but you wasn't really traveling across state lines for real to like date and, meet somebody and flying back and forth as we do now. People have access to communicate all over the world and date and things of that nature. So that makes sense as far as people marrying in the sense of to get married, because again, even back then, it wasn't a lot of this hookup culture as they call it now. The second thing, right, men are wising up when it comes to, again, the dating market. And I've said this in a lot of my videos. It's been a popular topic as went across the internet, which is, hey, a lot of men, based on what's going on in the economy, a lot of men holding on to their dollars, right? A lot of men are seeing that a lot of women now who quote unquote are modernized, they still want to uphold a traditional. They still want the man to uphold the traditional values of providing everything. But it's like, hey, you guys have caught up, right? And we can have a debate about, hey, well, women still not getting paid the full 100%, 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to, more than a man or the same equal. But y'all damn near caught up. Right. And I say that in the sense of y'all may even have more jobs than men out there now. Now, man may still in a situation may hold, and I can't even say that no, but to make a point, I would say men maybe hold, higher positions. But you guys have more work, more positions of work, right? I would say that if I had to make a point, and again, I don't know how accurate it is, but it sounds about right. Um, but when I say that to say is, men are like, okay, hey, we're close to equal, you know. We still approach the thing more traditional, like, hey, we'll court you guys, take you out on a date. But we've wisen up to see how uncles went through things, how friends have went through things, how the people before us went through things, and we peeping game on where it is now when it comes to the dating game. We want to get married, right, to women, but you guys aren't in that mindset. A lot of women aren't in that mindset until it's later down the road, when back in the day, you would get married earlier and build a life together and then later be able to enjoy it. Now women are waiting a long time now, quote unquote, what men call waiting at the finish line. They go through their 20s, and even in sometimes in their 30s and still playing in the dating game, hookup culture, things of that nature. Dudes not with that. Some dudes play it for a little bit, but the time that they want to start to quote unquote settle down and get serious in a relationship is definitely way earlier than women. So that dynamic has kind of shifted as well. When I feel like maybe back in the day, women used to try to get hooked up earlier because it was, again, more of a survival, more, hey, if I want to survive, I need to have kids. I need to be able to get in the household early because we wasn't making the money like that. So now fast forward, the game kind of flipped, and they're like, hey, I don't have to have kids with this man. I don't have to get married for my survival. I can get my own money. So now it's more of an option, not more of a I have to do this, right? And so men have taken note of this and said, all right, cool. Well, now, again, one of my things I've been saying for a while now is dudes are not leaving the game, but they're checking out of the game. You know how you play basketball, you can check in and check out the game. That's where they are right now. They ain't quit the game though. You follow me? They still playing it, but some of them like, hey, I'm gonna sit this one out, right? I'm gonna ride the bench for a little bit and work on my game. I'm gonna keep practicing, and then when I come back in the game, I'm a better player. So that's kind of what they saying. So the last point that she made was more now that women are I think a lot of women who are having these conversations like her, it used to be that women were getting mad at the men for checking out the game, right? Now it seemed like more women are getting mad at other women who are speaking up saying, hey, y'all messing up the game, right? Men are no longer approaching us. Men are no longer trying to take us serious. Men are no longer spending the money. Men are no longer courting us like that, right? And then if you're a married woman who did, who is in a successful marriage, they're now resenting, the single women are now resenting that, because they're like, oh, you think you better than us. Oh, you have something that we want and we can't get that. Now that we're starting to really look for it, because the men are all taken up, or the men who are still available, they're not who we really want, or the ones we do want don't want us. And the ones we do want, maybe they checked out the game for a little bit. So they're starting to resent a lot of these women who are married. And I can definitely understand that. She said something else too, like even the women that are in relationships, a lot of dudes are starting to like reevaluate it. Listen, I came across I was hanging with some friends of a friend, right? Let me just say it in that manner. And one of the girls that was dating, man, she dated this dude for like 11 years. And they finally broke up. Dude never popped a quote. He never, I guess he just said marriage went in it for him. You feel what I'm saying? But they dated for 11 years. Crazy. But that's what's happening, man. It's real out here. So I think that for me, most dudes know right off the money if the woman that they're dealing with has a potential to be a wife. Now, would she check the boxes to make it across the finish line where he ready to pop a question? That's a different conversation. But I definitely think that off rip, most dudes, when they deal with a woman, they know offhand, straight up, like, okay, I need to take her serious, or hey man, I'm gonna just have some fun with her. Right. And so us knowing that, we have now different viewpoint and dynamic of the let me set my one out. Different dynamic of the dating game. You feel me? And so yeah, man, I just think that the game has changed and women starting to resent it. So I think her messaging is good. I think that women need to take heed, and that's what it is. So with that being said, I appreciate this content creator sharing her message. If y'all got any value, like the video, and subscribe, and share this video out, because I'm sure somebody out there needs to hear this message. And with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.